What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you my first impressions of Othercide, a sort of roguelite TRPG that released almost 3 years ago, back in 2020, which my audience has been requesting I take a look at for a little while here and there, and with its certainly interesting visuals and again the unique sort of roguelite elements added to a TRPG, I decided it was finally time to check this thing out. Now, first impressions wise, I've got to tell you, having played the game for a few hours at the time of this recording, I don't really understand what's going on story-wise at all. Best I can tell, there was some woman named the Mother who fought against some sort of Lovecraftian corruption, but ultimately she died. This destroyed humanity in some way, and now echoes of this woman, known as her daughters, are still rising up to fight off the corruption, but this is again done in a sort of roguelite manner, with each run being called a recollection as you try to gather up memories. The game comes with 2 difficulty modes, with the biggest difference being that the normal difficulty, really called Nightmare, expects you to fail. You're supposed to basically go for as long as you can before you have to restart, but the farther you get in each run awards you with various crystals. You can spend these crystals on remembrances, which are sort of buffs to your current run that you can purchase via crystals once you've unlocked them. So once you complete certain acts in game, this will unlock a remembrance, and then in later runs you can spend your shards on it. And this includes things like starting your daughters, which are your units, at higher levels and skipping chapters of the story itself to get back to where you were, etc. Overall, though, I've got to say the game seems pretty simple as far as TRPGs go, at least a few hours into it where I've cleared the first chapter of the game, so to speak, known as an era. There's really only a handful of mechanics, and taking advantage of them is pretty straightforward. So I'm curious to see going forward if the game really introduces anything new in the later eras, such as new tactics to deal with, etc. Because so far, the only enemy that was really challenging at all was the last boss of that era. But you start each recollection with about 3 daughters, one of each of the 3 base classes. I believe there's at least one more. But then as these daughters level up, they can learn more abilities to use, as well as find traits which give them various passive buffs on top of their memories. Memories will buff individual skills to make them stronger, but where some of this gets interesting is more of the surrounding mechanics of that. Because you cannot heal in combat at all. You also can't heal outside of combat in normal mode. The only way to heal is to sacrifice some of your daughters to heal the other ones. But this requires that they be the same level or higher than the one you're trying to heal, meaning that preserving them is pretty important and also having a decent amount around. You can bring forth new daughters by spending vitae, which is basically just blood, which is also spent when you do things like attach memories to their skills, etc. But it goes even a little farther than that, because if one of your daughters dies, they're not necessarily gone forever. One of the mission types is called a rescue, and you can save a bright soul. Once you save that bright soul, you can potentially sacrifice them for a resurrection token, or potentially use a remembrance to get one, and revive your characters that way outside of combat. So there's a lot of just interesting mechanics that blend together that revolve around the life and death of these individual little characters, who are all just echoes of the person you're actually playing, known as the Mother. The era system is interesting as well, as it seems primarily tailored around convenience. Every day in-game is basically you taking on a mission with your daughters, who can only typically participate in 1 battle per day. Then you rest, which then gives you more missions known as synapses that you can do until a certain number of days pass and the boss becomes available. If you take too long, typically 7 days, you'll just be forced into the boss battle for that era. And even if you fail, you then restart with remembrances, etc., which can get you caught up pretty quickly to where you were, so you can try again. And overall, these systems, I think, mostly work pretty well. I'm having a good time here in the early stages. The art style is particularly striking to me. But like I mentioned, the one thing that I want to keep an eye on going forward is basically if these mechanics get stale pretty quickly, and if there's anything else new coming. And I think a lot of my enjoyment of this game is going to come down to just that. Because if the game doesn't really evolve much farther from here, then it's probably going to get repetitive very, very quickly, which wouldn't be unheard of for a shorter indie title like this, honestly, but I shall have to see. Early stages, though, I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and I'm excited to play through the rest of it. But at a glance, it does seem like a TRPG that would fit newcomers particularly well. But that's all I've got for you guys as far as first impressions go. While this game likely won't take me very long to get through, If I don't get it done in the next couple of days, I have to switch focus to Hogwarts Legacy, so it's hard to say exactly when you'll see the review for this one, but the game itself really shouldn't take me that long. All of that said though, I hope you enjoyed this first look at the title. If you're looking forward to the review, or if you just enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom, and have an amazing day.